Well, ladies and gentlemen, turning out to be quite a good season here at Taunton Town. Welcome back to our Zero to Hero series and part 6 of our journey with Taunton Town FC. And as you can see, we're doing all right. We have only played through 3 more matches since Friday's episode. That's just because I want to show you the FA Trophy third round against Havant and Waterloo, which is happening today. We did lose against Hampton and Richmond, who were first in the league. You can see 5-4, little bit of a goal fest. But then we've only conceded once in the last 2 games after that absolute goal fest. So we're doing all right. It does mean in the league, we can see we are in 3rd place with 42 points on the board. As part of today's episode, I'm also going to play through and then we'll play the Chippenham match because they're currently in 2nd. So we're basically doing this one. I'm then playing 3 games off screen and then coming back for the Chippenham one. In other news, more movement on the transfer front. Not a huge sort of thing happening. Ollie Chamberlain has left the club. He really hadn't played much for us this season. 3 appearances, in fact. He's gone over to Whitehawk, who are in one of the leagues below. And the other major thing that did happen is we had an injury. And that injury was to Ross Stern. He's going to be out for about another 3 weeks. And obviously he was covering our left and right midfielder slot. So it has left us in a little bit of a pickle. We have managed to solve that pretty instantly though, by bringing in a nice new shiny young player in the form of Gareth Lewis. We can see he's only 16 years old and he's basically on a youth contract at the moment, or a non-contract, essentially, whatever you want to call that. He's not quite ready for this league yet, but good potential, and I think he'll offer some nice cover on that left-hand side. Right midfield is still a little bit of a problem, but because Ollie Chamberlain has left, if we have a look now, we are back under our wage budget. So if we can get someone else in on non-contract, then that will be absolutely fine. Watch that space, I guess. It does cause a problem pretty much straight away, not having that right midfielder in this lineup, though. This is the lineup we're going to be using, which is Rogerson in goal, McLennan, Folston, Purcell and Pearson. Midfielders Ashcroft, Bud, Lucas and Asante. And the reason for that is our only other player who can play right midfield is Zach Smith. And Zach Smith, as it stands, isn't fit enough for this match. If I just do that again, Ashcroft is playing on the other side. So Asante coming in there, and Jaden Smith and Taylor Crossdale are up front, which I kind of think is probably the best we can do for this match. And hopefully that'll be enough. We will see whether that pans out or not, or whether I regret the fact that I haven't got another right midfielder in yet. We have brought some people in on trials in order to have a little bit of a look-see at that and maybe see if we can get someone in. But I'm not going to just bring someone in for the sake of it. I'd rather struggle than spend money on someone that realistically is not going to play any games. It's the same thing with Ollie Chamberlain, who has just left the club. But if you're going to start ruining the club dynamics because you're complaining about getting no game time and I'm unlikely to pay you, unfortunately, you have to leave. Before we see our first highlight there, guys, if you do enjoy today's episode, please do drop a like down below, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, it is all very helpful. And Pearson here crossing into Taylor Crossdale for our first highlight of the match. Taylor Crossdale in fine form, I was about to say, and he shows it right there. But instead, he smacked that one against the post. Very unfortunate for him. We can see 20 minutes in, we are very dominant in this tie. We'll just give a bit of encouragement to the team. Ashcroft with a free kick there. He did score one of those recently. We saw... Was it in the last episode? It might well have been. It might be in the episode before, but it scored a really good free kick in a very recent episode. So we know he can do it, just not on that occasion. A rare flurry into our half then, and Havant and Waterloo with a free kick on the area. Rogerson, good solid goalkeeping there, preventing them from taking a lead here at home at Taunton. I'm not sure what the ground's called. I do know this, and for the life of me, as I went to say the stadium name, I couldn't remember it. Up the Peacocks, all of that lovely stuff. Can we just can we go get a goal, guys? Can we do a goal? Getting a goal would be kind of nice here. I said we were pretty dominant in this tie, but obviously there's only one real stat that matters in football, and that one is the one at the top of the left-hand side of the screen. And right now it still reads 0-0. Rooney on the ball. assumes it's no relation of Wayne, but you never know. And yeah, Havant and Waterloo are kind of being allowed back into this match. A ball forward there. Purcell doesn't quite manage to deal with that with a header. I say not quite. He didn't manage to deal with that at all. And Rogerson, as it stands, is kind of keeping us in this game right now. It's good that he's doing it. I still think it was the right choice to drop Bycroft as a result, because Rogerson seems to be quite a solid goalkeeper. Taylor Crossdale chasing after that loose ball, but not really ever getting anywhere near it. We have got a corner here, which will probably end the half more or less. And Taylor Crossdale just there at the far post, calm as you like, to hit it home. It's been disallowed. That was very unfortunate. After all that, it's been disallowed, and I look like a bit of a wally. It looked very, very onside. I don't really know how he's managed to sort of get offside there, but he has. Also, if my voice sounds awful, it's because I've got a horrible cold, and as much as I've tried to rest it because I haven't recorded for a couple of days, it hasn't really helped in the slightest, if I'm honest. I kind of feel a little bit rubbish. What would cheer me up here is if we could take a lead in this tie and actually solidify ourselves properly in those playoff positions. I think at the moment we're doing, you know, pretty decent. No, I say solidify us in those league positions. This is a cup game. I said I wasn't feeling well. I think that's a pretty good indication of it. I've forgotten what league and what fixtures we're even playing. That was a really big ball distributed there to Taylor Crossdale, and he hasn't managed to put it on target either. This is becoming a little bit frustrating. Taylor Crossdale's on a 6.1. We're getting him off the pitch, I think. It doesn't mean pushing Asante up front. Zach Smith coming in on that right-hand side. He's tired, but not that tired. He can probably do a little bit of a job, I would think. And let's put Lloyd James on here for Joe Budd as well. Bring one of our more experienced team members on. Maybe he can make a bit of a difference marshalling that midfield today. Purcell over to Zach Smith. Tries and attempts a cross. Nothing coming from it. Goalkeeper's punched that one. I feel like he probably could have caught it, but never mind. And once again, Havant and Waterloo on the attack here. They do cross the ball to absolutely no one, though. There was none of their players in the box at that point. You may as well try and keep hold of the ball. Jaden Smith bringing that one down, cutting inside. Has a shot from just on the edge of the box, but it is going wide and never really looking much like it's going to be on target. James here with a free kick then. And once again, we're threatening. We are threatening in this tie, but just not really getting a lot out of it. Purcell there to James into the box. Zach Smith could have got on the end of it, but doesn't even jump for it. And now James once again bearing down on the goal. That's just an awful shot, really, isn't it? Just a really awful shot. Asante's looking tired, but I want to leave him on the pitch because he's the most likely player, in my opinion, to grab a goal. So I think Ashcroft comes on and Gareth Lewis comes on to make his debut for the club and channel debut, of course, at the age of 16. Can he handle the pressure in this tie, though? Let's see. We are going to go into extra time here, though. Let's just encourage the team. At some point, we're going to have to take Asante off because I'm a little bit worried he's going to break. The problem with that is everyone's very, very tired. He's now asking to be substituted, so we're going to have to take Asante off. But we don't really have anyone to bring on for him. So we've got Leslie Smith and Dan Ball who can come on. I don't think either of them are going to make a very big impact up front. If we do this, can we play anyone in here maybe? Not really. This is all a little bit of a pickle. Is there anyone who can play anywhere else on the pitch that could help me out here maybe? I mean, there is literally no way to take him off. So Leslie Smith up front as a deep lying forward, I guess it is. That's what we're going with. Is that anywhere near a solution to this? I mean, what it does do is if I have the option of going through in this cup or breaking Asante, I'll take going out of the cup. I'd rather keep Asante fit for the rest of this season and have him scoring goals in the league and be knocked out of the cup, if I'm completely honest. I don't know what the board will think of that. Probably not much. And we look like we're conceding one. So that might be about to come true. Oh dear, this is all gone very, very wrong today. We're going attacking. There isn't exactly much time left in this tie now, and we demand more from the team. This has just not been a very good day for us. 20 shots. 20 shots. Only 4 on target to be honest, but 20 shots. And we've just been knocked out of this cup. I mean, it's a little bit of a problematic start to this episode, if we're completely honest. And I can't see the board being too happy about it. But I don't think it'll be a major problem for the board. Just due to the fact, I mean, they want us to be competitive in the FA Trophy. They're happy with that. They're happy we reached the 3rd round. So at the moment, they are happy about everything. They feel we're doing a really good job. The supporters feel like we're doing a really good job. I don't think we need to worry too much about that trophy, which is a good thing. Right now, though, oh my God, Truro have made approach to sign John Leslie Smith. He's on a non-contract as well, so he can just leave, which would make our right back and centre back problem that little bit worse. I mean, I guess we'll see where we are when we get to the Chippenham game. Well, it's almost like it's the January transfer window, which is non-league, so obviously it isn't because the transfer windows don't close, but it feels like that episode. We've had a couple more players leave. Both of these guys, Josh Leslie Smith and Callum Pearson, were both on non-contracts. They got offers made for them, and they have decided to leave, and there wasn't a lot we could do about it, which is a little bit unfortunate, considering they were both of our right backs, which has made things a little bit difficult, I will admit. On the inside, though, we have now brought in some players to attempt to obviously replace them. The first is Joe Powell, who can play as a right midfielder and as a right back, so he kind of fulfills that role. He's not fantastic, but he is a body, and that's the best I can give him at the moment. Callum Mendes-Jones is another one of those bodies that has come in who can play as a right back, who can also play as a centre back, and if ever we want to do a diamond, which is a bit like we were trying before when we had to sub off someone, then he can play as a defensive midfielder as well. And finally, we have brought in Callum Kennedy, who again isn't great, but can play as a left back and can play as a centre back, and it's kind of the best we can do at this moment in time. It does mean we're not on the best run of form I've ever seen us be in. Obviously, we lost that match against Havant and Waterloo. That seems to have affected our form and morale a bit. We lost to Weymouth, who were 22nd, 23rd in the league. We then played Weymouth again straight afterwards and drew. And then we've just drawn 2-2 against Concord. Today, we're facing Chippenham, who are now 1st in the league. And I am a little bit scared about how this could go today. This is our lineup for that one. We've got Rogerson in goal, then McLennan, Falston, Mendes-Jones and Powell as our back four. Lewis, James, Lucas and Zach Smith is our central four, and then Asante accompanying Jaden Smith up front. We normally would be playing Taylor Crossdale in there, but his last 3 goals have all been offside, and it's just annoying me a little bit, if I'm honest. I'd quite like it if you're going to keep getting in a position to score goals, could you just stay on side, because he's been really, really good, but obviously at the moment isn't really scoring a lot. So we're trying Jaden Smith up front, which is what the assistant manager keeps telling me to do, and we'll see if he does any better in this match. We can see at the moment we are 7th, so just still inside of those playoff positions, but only on goal difference. Obviously that could all change here against 1st in the league. We kind of need to get a good result here before we start sliding down the table. We're just going to encourage the team straight from the off. And it is Chippenham who are going to start on the ball. Lucas diving in with both feet there. I'm probably getting quite lucky that he doesn't actually make any contact, because I think that's very likely a straight red. Chippenham into the box here, and they have instantly scored one in less than 5 minutes into the match. It's one of those lovely ones again where we've been on a good run of form. Friday's episode, we had the 2 wins. It all looked very, very rosy for Taunton Town, and we've come back. Our players are dropping like flies, leaving the club because we don't really have the pulling power yet here at Taunton to keep them. If another team comes in to bid on them, they're probably going to offer them more wages. And now we're just going to start sliding down the table. Chippenham scoring with their first shot of the game. which is not great for us, to be honest. Mendes Jones here, pumping a big ball forward, not really near anyone. Zach Smith is obviously going to run his little legs off and try and get there, but with a defender in front of him, that was just a bit of a useless ball. Mendes Jones again with another one of those big balls forward, just pumping it to no one, which is not ideal and not really what we want. It is non-league though. I mean, I can tell these guys to play out from the back as much as I want. They aren't inclined to listen to me. There is Route 1 football, and that is kind of it. I don't think they're very likely to be playing a 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress here in non-league, and Chippenham have just got their second goal. We're only 15 minutes in. I mean, I feel like we just need to drop to cautious and demand more straight away, just to try and stop the floodgates here a little bit. Because this could turn into a little bit of a bloodbath, and if it turns into a bit of a bloodbath, I think that will affect our morale so much that we will really, really struggle to get back into that good form that we have had so far this season. I do temper expectations here. We are a team that were expected to finish 23rd in the league. That was the pre-season prediction. And obviously, we are doing a lot better than that. It will just be quite disappointing after having that really good spell if now we don't get to the playoffs. Again, we are only in December. There is plenty of football left to play. We still do have time to play ourselves out of any poor form that we are currently in. We just don't want it to last too long. And another stop there for Chippenham. Nothing really our way so far. In between these two matches as well, the board have come in and given me a new contract. It's another £750 a week, which is what I was on currently. But it is another 2 years. So we will be here for next season. And hopefully we'll be doing that after having been in the playoffs. I don't think it's very likely we win the league unless the teams around us have an incredible collapse and we have an incredible run of form. But we could at least be challenging for those playoff spots, and then we get to maybe go up via the playoffs, maybe get absolutely battered in them. They are a little bit of a lottery. Lloyd James is looking tired and needs to come off. Joe Budd's going to be coming on for him. We'll just tell the assistant manager to make that change next time he can. Jaden Smith here has found himself a little bit of space and has got a shot away, but not one that's going to trouble the goalkeeper very much. Not on target, and not really helping us out in this situation very much. I can see as well, looking down at the bottom, that Asante is also looking tired. I think he needs a little bit of a break because we're basically having to sub him off every game. And if I can give him a bit of a break maybe in a couple of games' time when we're playing against someone at the bottom of the league, then he can go back to doing stuff like this regularly across 90 minutes. Asante there pulling one back for Taunton. Could we draw level in this tie? I mean, I'd rather get a win on the board. We've just had those 2 draws as we saw. But equally, if we can get 1 point against top of the league, I think that's a reasonably okay result, especially with the way things are going at the moment. I would take that right now. Right, with that said, we do need to make a couple more changes. Mendes Jones seems to come off because he's tired, I think so. Kennedy can come on for him. Purcell, by the way, is suspended as well, which is why he isn't playing. And we need to make one other change. I mean, Asante kind of needs to come off, but so do multiple other people. So maybe Zach Smith comes off and Ross Stern comes over on that right-hand side as our third change and hopefully injects a little bit of energy down the wings should we need it and gets a nice cross into Asante. That would be absolutely beautiful stuff. We would be very, very happy with that. Mendes Jones again with a massive ball forward, but someone has gotten the end of it. Zach Smith this time passes it into the middle, and Jaden Smith with his 11th goal of the season. That is a proper non-league football goal. Pump it forward, cross it in, tap it home. We will take it. We will absolutely take it. Zach Smith there managing to get on the end of that big Mendes Jones ball, just pumping forward as he's done a few times at this match. I think that's the first one I've seen come off though. And Jaden Smith drawing us level. We are very, very happy with that. Very happy with that, especially after going down by 2 goals so early on in this tie. Powell, Lucas now, another big ball forward for our goal scorer, Jaden Smith, to run onto. It tested the goalkeeper. I mean, it tested the goalkeeper. It didn't go wide. That's already much better. It does mean we're back in the playoff positions as it stands right now. Chippenham have a corner. We have just about managed to deal with that one. Follow-up, though, not so good. Lucas is still on the pitch. I'm not entirely sure how after that one. And once again, I was about to say once again, we're going to go 3-2 down. It's going to put us in worlds of trouble. But instead, Rogerson stepping up to that penalty. What a goalkeeper. What a lad. Keeping us in this tie after Lucas's moment of madness there. Can we appreciate he didn't even get a card for that? I mean, I kind of saw it because I was looking away at the camera at the time. But why are we 2-footing everyone? There's been a few of those so far in this match, and I don't entirely know why we're jumping into tackle so much. Our two strikers, though, really saving us on the day. And at the end of the match, we do find ourselves back in 5th place. A draw against 1st place, like I said. I feel like that's all right. I feel like we can live with it. Right, looking forward, though. We have obviously taken our time a lot over this first half of the season. I think now we probably play through a few matches, get to the business end of this season, and maybe towards the end of February, start of March sort of time, we see where we're sort of sat at that point. We can see there, for example, Dover, Tonbridge are currently 2nd, Hampton and Richmond are currently 4th. So they could be both very, very big game for us. But again, it changes so quickly in this league that they could be in completely different positions by the time we get back. We will see on tomorrow's episode. If you have enjoyed today's episode, though, of course, please do hit a like down below, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of the FM23 content on the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode with Taunton Town. Bye-bye.